Hey guys, Flannel Chef here, and today I got a pretty straightforward, simple video for you. Only 5 ingredients, 1 pot, perfect for these summer months that are going to be hot and you don't want to use your oven. It's called an incredible edible, and we're just going to start off with 1 1/4 sticks of butter, and we're going to let those melt down until they're nothing but liquid. We don't want any chunks of butter left in it. Now that that's all set, we are going to take 2 cups of confectioner's or powdered sugar, and we're going to add that to it. We're going to mix it all up until it's well combined. Now you might notice that when you first start mixing this, it looks almost kind of like cottage cheese, just this lumpy yellow mass. Don't worry about that. It happens. You didn't mess anything up. Eventually when this cooks and we stir a little more, it's going to turn into almost like this tacky, fluff-like substance. It's really nice and sticky. Some of the butter might separate out. Again, don't worry about that. That's fine. And then to this, we're going to add 2 cups of crushed graham crackers. You can use cinnamon sugar, honey. I happen to have some that I made from scratch, so I incorporated those in. We're just going to stir around until it's all nice and combined and together. Once it's all combined, we're going to take 16 ounces or 2 cups of peanut butter. You can use creamy or crunchy. I prefer the extreme skippy crunchy peanut butter just for some added texture, so that's what I'm going to be using. And then we're just going to incorporate that. All of this is being done on medium-low heat until it's all combined, loose, a little easier to work with. Then we're going to pour it into a pan. You can use a 9x13 if you want one that has a thinner peanut butter base. I personally like a thicker one. So I'm using a 7.5 by 11, and that's going to give us a base that's about 1.5 inches thick, 2 inches thick, which I think is perfect for these. These tend to be more of a decadent dessert, so just make sure that you are cutting them into smaller pieces. After all, this is really just chocolate, sugar, butter, and peanut butter together. Super delicious, but tends to be a bit more decadent. So once this is all spread out and even, we're going to put it into the freezer to set up. And while that's setting up, we're going to take a small pot, put about 1 inch or 2 of water into it, let it come up till it's just steaming, and then we're going to take a heat-treated Pyrex glass bowl with about a cup of chocolate chips, 1.5 cups. Depending on how much you like chocolate, you can do up to 2 cups if you want a really thick top along it. But we're just going to let this melt over the double boiler. It tends to take a little longer than a traditional microwave, but you also have much more control over the melting of the chocolate. Now about 8-9 minutes later, our chocolate is beautifully smooth. So now we're going to go ahead and we are going to pull our peanut butter base out of the freezer. As you can see, the peanut butter base has set up just to the point where we can really work with it. It's not completely frozen yet, which is fine. We're just going to take the melted chocolate. We are going to pour it over the peanut butter base, and then we're just going to start spreading it around, trying to get it as evenly as we can. I personally prefer not such a thick chocolate base on mine, so that's why I'm using such a small amount. As I said, you can use up to 2 cups. It is okay also if you don't get it on every single little surface of the peanut butter. That is perfectly fine. You know, it's a homemade treat. Don't worry about it. But then we're just going to put it back into the freezer to set. And once it's just about set, well, the chocolate is still a tiny bit shiny, we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut it into pieces so that way when it's fully set up, it's a lot easier to actually cut into and serve. And there we have it. We're just going to let this set up the rest of the way, and then all you got to do is just go through those knife lines one more time, just put them on a platter and wait for them to get eaten. For the Flannel Chef, that's all I got. I'll see you all next time.